The episode starts with Shaurya asking what's happening. Someone called me to inform. Jasmeet says don't know what will Mishti do. Abir and Mishti try to explain. Vishwamber says come inside. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to talk to Mishti. It will be better that you leave. Rajshri takes Mishti with her. Khushiyaan baaten plays. Abir leaves. Mishti gets sad. Varsha says Kuhu called and managed the matter. Jasmeet says I will give the good news to Kuhu. Varsha says Mishti will be too worried. Kuhu asks Kunal what is he doing. Kunal says my back aches on the sofa. He says you are right Kuhu. I'm falling in love with you. Bekhudi plays. Kuhu looks at him. She gets a call. He thinks of lawyer's words. Kuhu asks was Mishti crying a lot. Jasmeet says yes. You would have been happy seeing her. Kuhu says one can't stay happy seeing others crying. Heartbreak is much painful. I'm doing this for Kunal. Mishti says you called the family and asked them to go out. Abir and Mishti got caught. You won. Kuhu thinks sorry Mishti. I had no option. Rajshri asks Mishti was this going on since Abir asked me to find a girl. Jasmeet asks Mishti to answer. Mishti says since before. Jasmeet says you should have lied to us. Mishti says I didn't wish to lie. It was difficult for me to hide truth. I'm very sorry. I didn't wish to hurt you bade Papa. You gave me freedom to live my life and fall in love. I didn't know I will fall for the guy whose brother I rejected. Varsha says you didn't think for Kuhu. Mishti says I thought a lot. I wasn't agreeing that I love Abir. Now I realized that I'm not alone in this situation. Abir also loves me. She says Badi Ma. We were going to tell you everything tomorrow morning. Varsha says tell her that this isn't possible. Mishti asks Rajshri do you want me to leave Abir? Varsha says yes. Forget him. No one likes you in that family. Especially Kunal. Kuhu didn't settle well. If this relation happens, Kunal will vent anger on Kuhu. Please save her life from ruining. Abir comes home and checks phone. He sees Nanu. He says Mishti's family got to know about Mishti and me. We should have told them. Nanu says truth is like sun. Light always finds his way. Abir says Vishwamber is upset. Will you help me? Nanu says yes. I'm your dad. Abir says no. You are my Nanu. Nanu says shut up. I have maintained myself. People will think I'm your dad. Not Nanu. Abir says I'm telling about Mishti and me. Why are you worried? Don't lie. Say the truth. Rajshri asks what happened to you all. Mishti loves someone. She has chosen someone and trusted. Vishwamber says she didn't trust us and didn't tell. Mishti says I didn't wish to hide anything. Vishwamber says you have hidden a big thing from me. You have become my daughter. But I couldn't become your dad. Mishti cries and says no. I'm sorry. Don't cry. He goes. Jasmeet scolds Mishti. She asks Mishti to break her relations with Abir. Varsha says Kunal still hates you. Even his mom. Please end this relation. Mishti cries. Nanu says I'm not hiding anything. Parul and Meenakshi didn't talk since Kunal's marriage. Kunal is being angry. You fought Kunal. How shall I chill bro? Abir says I know. Will you help me? Nanu says I'm always with you. Abir hugs him. Nanu says you talk to Kunal. I will talk to Vishwamber. Abir says I promise. I will talk to Kunal. Abir thinks life is asking me to choose between Mishti and Kunal. Abir gets a call. Nanu thinks you have to solve this problem yourself. We have a bigger danger. Your dad has come back. Mishti sits crying and thinks of Abir. Abir says I wish we got a chance to tell your family. Mishti calls him. She cries and asks how shall I leave you. He asks what did Vishwamber say. She says no. His tears told everything. I have hurt him. He says Nanu will meet Vishwamber. She says no. Varsha wants me to break up with you. She thinks Kuhu's life have problems because of me. Sathayamir plays. Abir cries and asks her to say what to do. If she says then they will. She says no. I can't leave you. But I love my family. What shall I do? If Vishwamber and Rajshri agree to Varsha and ask me to forget you, what will I do? He says we don't know what will happen now. Get up. Go to sleep. She says no. He says I'm with you. She lies to sleep. She says I won't disconnect. He says yes. Talk to me. I hope you liked noodles. She says yes. He says now I can make it for Kunal. He says I'm here with you. As I promised. All night. It's morning. Rajshri says Mishti didn't do right. I'm thinking to call Devayani and tell her to take her back. Vishwamber says enough. Mishti is our daughter. I'm her father. She says she lied to us. He asks what would happen if she told truth. This house gets divided when it comes about Mishti. She has courage to take her decisions. Already many people point finger at her. Meenakshi and Kunal can also point finger at her. When our family points finger at her, it will be my mistake. If we aren't able to decide. Why Mishti has all the responsibility. Rajshri smiles and says right. We won't burden her. You were silent since hours. So I had to find this way to talk to you. He asks what shall we do now? She says you should talk to Abir. We won't get a better guy than Abir for Mishti. Varsha says no. There can't be a better guy than Abir for Mishti. Even then my daughter's life is at stake. Rajshri says we will talk to Meenakshi. Varsha asks how will you explain Kunal? He will vent anger on Kuhu. She begs for Kuhu's happiness. She says please don't call Abir. Rajshri says you want Mishti to sacrifice her love. Varsha says no. I would have told the same to Kuhu. Don't you love Kuhu? She cries.